Good Inside, A Guide to Becoming the Parent You Want to Be by Dr. Becky Kennedy. This book is published in June 2023, is a family education guide for parents. It topped the New York Times bestseller list in 2003, indicating that its content benefited many individuals. The author of this book is Becky Kennedy, a clinical psychologist and mother of 3 children, acclaimed by Time magazine as the parenting coach for the millennial era. The motivation behind writing this book traces back to a training program the author enrolled in. The program aimed to teach supposedly scientifically validated methods of disciplining children, including using rewards, praise, ignoring, and timeouts, which most parenting experts commonly recommended at the time. However, the author felt uncomfortable with these methods during the learning process. She pondered how painful it would be if someone used these techniques on her. She realized these methods originated from behaviorism, focusing solely on observable behavior rather than the less observable feelings, thoughts, and needs. Although this parenting method seemed logically sound, aiming to eliminate bad behavior and foster compliance, it often sacrificed the parent-child relationship. Behaviorism emphasizes shaping behavior rather than understanding it. Yet, parents' primary goal is not to mold a child's behavior but to nurture a person. Therefore, the author believes parents should separate the child from their behavior, viewing the child's actions as expressions of needs. In the following sections, I will explain this book in 2 parts. Firstly, I'll share the author's series of parenting principles, including the gentle parenting approach and other insightful parenting guidelines. Secondly, we'll address specific parenting challenges, such as handling a child's temper tantrums, managing conflicts between siblings, and helping children build self-confidence. In this book, the author emphasizes one parenting guideline at the outset: gentle parenting. It simply means believing that both you and your child are inherently good. While this statement seems ordinary, practicing it can be challenging. Even though no parent intentionally thinks badly of their child, when a child makes a mistake, parents often subconsciously assume ill intentions, unable to resist blaming the child. "Are you trying to make me angry?" Behind much parenting advice lies this negative assumption that children are playing tricks rather than expressing their inner needs. If parents persistently adhere to gentle parenting, believing in the child's innate goodness, they can differentiate between the child and their actions. The child's behavior should not be a yardstick for judging the child, but a clue to understanding their needs. For instance, "I hate my sister" might conceal a child's desire for attention and a fear of abandonment. Similarly, a child's reluctance to go to school might suppress their struggles. Behind problematic behavior lies the child's unmet needs. This book aims to guide parents on truly seeing their child. Of course, this doesn't imply indulging a child's behavior. Throughout the book, the author provides methods for guiding a child's behavior. Now, let's talk about the second principle: defining the roles and responsibilities of parents and children. Clear role definitions and distinct responsibilities are critical for its smooth functioning in any system. Each family operates as a system, and every family member has their role. On parent side, the parent's responsibilities involve creating a secure growth environment by establishing behavioral guidelines, acceptance, and empathy. But what does setting behavioral guidelines mean? Consider this example.
Let's say David visits Kevin's house to play, and they engage in a game of building blocks. They get along initially, but an argument erupts over where to place a block. Kevin grabs a block and throws it at David. Kevin's mother immediately tells him to stop throwing blocks, but Kevin pays no heed and continues. Most parents' instinctual response might be similar to Kevin's mother's intervention, but this isn't effective. The author points out that the critical issue in this scenario is the need for clear behavioral guidelines. Didn't Kevin's mother already set a rule not to argue? Well, that's not quite it. Behavioral guidelines aren't about telling children what not to do, but about informing them about how things will be handled. Practical behavioral guidelines involve Kevin's mother telling Kevin, "I won't allow you to throw toys." And then physically intervening by placing the blocks where Kevin can't reach them or moving Kevin to another room, sitting with him. Preventing him from continuing to throw toys. What's the difference between saying, "Don't throw toys," and "I won't allow you to throw toys"? The former requests the child to suppress their impulses, but to be honest, the prefrontal cortex responsible for inhibiting impulses has yet to be entirely for young children to develop. So, it's challenging to command a child who's hitting someone to stop or expect a child who wants to watch TV to turn it off themselves. Moreover, if we demand that a child controls, it might send a message that says, "I see you're losing control, but you have to handle it yourself." Increasing the child's sense of helplessness. Children, like everyone, crave someone who remains calm, controls the situation, and provides security when emotions spiral out.
Therefore, I won't allow you to throw toys signifies that the parent will intervene to help the child control. When parents calmly prevent a child's behavior, the child realizes that even during their strongest emotions, they won't lose control. Over time, the child internalizes this control. Parents are guardians of children's emotions, and they are also responsible for ensuring their physical safety. Thus, they should accept and empathize with their children's emotions. Children need to explore and learn by perceiving and expressing emotions. They need to understand their limitations, their roles at home, the extent of their autonomy, and anticipate consequences when trying new things. So, when a child challenges parental authority, they might be testing boundaries or attempting to get what they want. This behavior is part of their learning process. Once you perceive things from this perspective, you can reconsider many of a child's behaviors. Now, let's talk about the third principle, reducing shame. Parents visiting the author's clinic often express concerns about their children's misbehavior. These concerns frequently revolve around a common theme: shame.
Let's look at a few examples. My daughter always refuses to apologize. Yesterday, she hit her sister's toy, making her cry incessantly. But she refuses to admit she made her sister cry and adamantly refuses to apologize. So, I lost my temper. She's just so thoughtless. Oh, you think she lacks empathy completely? My son is so stubborn. He couldn't solve a math problem, and when I tried to help, he wouldn't listen. Later, he even threw a tantrum. It's so frustrating. I don't understand why he won't let me help him. My daughter frequently lies. She got kicked out of the school soccer team, but didn't tell me. I told her she must tell me the truth. Lying is wrong, but it doesn't work at all. What's going on?
These children may seem different, but the author points out that every child, whether stubbornly refusing to apologize or habitually lying, has closed its emotional gates tightly. These children experience guilt and embarrassment and subsequently resort to immature coping mechanisms to avoid these negative feelings. This is a shame, the feeling of not being able to be oneself or experience specific emotions. The author defines shame as an emotion that nobody wants to understand or accept about themselves. Shame makes one want to hide and maintain distance from others. Children might feel, "I'm bad, I'm not lovable, nobody likes me," or "I must hide my feelings and change my behavior to feel safe." Therefore, shame can render children motionless, making them appear unwilling to apologize, accept help, or be honest. This rigidity and numbness often infuriate parents because they perceive their child's response as disregard or indifference. If parents fail to recognize their child's shame and blame the child, it reinforces the child's shame, worsening the situation. Therefore, one of the essential parenting skills is identifying a child's shame, understanding what triggers it, how it translates into behavior, and helping the child diminish that shame. Now, how to do that? Let's return to the previous examples. Suppose the older sister hit her younger sister's toy, making her cry, and refused to apologize. The refusal to apologize is a classic expression of shame. The child appears cold and unfeeling, but, in reality, they're engulfed by the notion of being bad and feel paralyzed by guilt.
If the mother persists, saying, "Apologies, why don't you care about your sister? Hurry up and say sorry," it'll only reinforce the child's belief that they're wrong, intensifying the shame. Instead, the focus should be on reducing the child's shame. For instance, the mother could say, "I understand saying sorry is difficult. You're not ready yet, let me apologize first." Then, pause from lecturing the child and revisit the matter when the child is no longer overwhelmed by shame. Once the child is more relaxed, the parent could say, "Apologizing is difficult, even for adults. What do you think about saying sorry now? The key is that as long as the child is stuck in shame, whatever parents say will not work, and the child's introspection, understanding, and growth will not begin. Shame can affect individuals of any age, whether 5 or 15. Whether they refuse to apologize or lie to their parents about being dismissed from the soccer team. It might all originate from being caught up in shame. Shame might have long-term effects. Many adults still carry deep-rooted shame within them. When we display behaviors that our parents didn't accept during childhood, shame might resurface. For instance, if you grew up in a household that highly valued toughness and the boys don't cry mentality, you might frequently hear phrases like, "Why are you crying so much? Nobody wants to be around you when you're like this." This is a shame. As an adult, you might still struggle to show vulnerability or open up emotionally, believing it threatens your relationships, leading to accumulated anxiety until it erupts one day.
Like children, shame can hinder adult growth and change, impacting how we parent our children and respond to conflicts with them. So, while you strive to recognize and reduce your child's shame, take some time to contemplate your shame, the parts of yourself you had to hide, how they influence you now, and the parts of yourself that still need acknowledgement, empathy, and acceptance. Finally, I have a fourth parenting principle I'd like to share with you. Resilience is more important than happiness. We've increasingly emphasized whether children are happy. We strive to ensure our children have a happy childhood. However, in this book, the author raises a question. Parents who overly focus on happiness might neglect other emotions their children experience. The author believes that resilience is far more important than happiness. Resilience is the ability to maintain oneself while experiencing various emotions. It helps us emerge from stress, failure, mistakes, and adversity. For children, resilience is crucial. It's needed when building blocks fall, puzzles get challenging, learning new words becomes difficult, or when facing social exclusion. Children with solid resilience can adjust their mindset, encourage themselves to keep trying, and handle situations adeptly. Many consider resilience as the ability to overcome difficulties and achieve success. But in reality, resilience has nothing to do with success. It's the ability to endure pain, remain composed, and be confident even when results are temporarily absent. With resilience, happiness can be sustained. It allows children to be happy and continues to be beneficial, helping them become happy adults. So, how can parents nurture their children's resilience? The answer is simple. Empathy and listening. Accepting the child as they are. Providing a sense of security through consistent companionship. Identifying the child's strengths. Allowing them to make mistakes fosters a sense of responsibility. Enhancing the child's problem-solving abilities. As parents, we need to be with our children when they face difficulties, letting them know they are not alone instead of directly solving their problems. For example, when a child struggles with building blocks, we could brainstorm together rather than helping them now. How can we make it more stable? While doing so, maintain a curious attitude. All these actions are empathetic, allowing the child to continue facing challenges. Parents must remind themselves whether they encourage their children to endure and overcome challenges or escape from them. Moreover, parents excessively focusing on making their children happy might lead to anxious adults later in life. Suppose parents become emotional police, always trying to keep their children from feeling unhappy without teaching them how to deal with unhappiness. In that case, children may believe that being sad is wrong.
For instance, when a son expresses disappointment in his running performance, and a parent consoles him by saying, "But you're good at studying." Or when a daughter complains about not being invited to a classmate's birthday party, and a parent says, "That classmate probably didn't invite many people." While parents may believe they're helping, children might interpret this as "I shouldn't feel upset. Once I feel upset, I must quickly be happy again." It doesn't help children understand negative emotions or build resilience. Many parents wish to shield their children from negative experiences. However, it's better to help children develop the ability to face pain. Openness and companionship are the best ways to do so. Instead of saying, "Grandma just went to another place," it might be better to tell the child, "I want to tell you something that might make you sad. Grandma passed away yesterday. If you feel unfortunate, it's entirely normal." Then, sit down with the child and observe their reaction. The message conveyed to the child is that pain is a part of life. When something sad happens, we can talk to our loved ones and get through it together.
Next, let's move into the more specific and practical aspects, discussing concrete solutions to everyday parenting challenges. Let's start by addressing the first issue of dealing with a child's temper tantrums. Many parents frequently face this challenging problem. However, let's consider this from a different perspective. Tantrums might not be intentional disruptions, they could be essential for a child's healthy development. As parents, we hope our children become individuals who can stand by their opinions, knowing what they want, even when others disagree. We shouldn't encourage compliance during a child's early years while expecting them to grow up to be decisive and courageous. If we desire our children to recognize their needs as they grow firmly, we must view tantrums as a necessary part of their healthy development. When a child starts exhibiting aggressive behaviors like throwing things, pinching, or biting, it indicates that the prefrontal cortex has been overwhelmed by emotions and enters a state of opposition. At this point, the child can't reason. Parents need to demonstrate authority to prevent the situation from escalating further. As mentioned earlier, one of their responsibilities is to set behavioral rules. Parents must intervene decisively in moments of a child's loss of control to stop the child's dangerous behavior. When a child's emotions explode, could you not attempt to teach them? Your sole objective is to restrain. The author likely has substantial experience as a mother of 3. She mentions repeatedly telling herself mentally, "Restrain, restrain, all I can do is restrain." Just doing this is enough. So, how should parents specifically act? Firstly, replace "don't do that" with "I won't allow you to do this." This will send the message that everything is under the parent's control, and they will stop the child's disruptive behavior. It's essential to remember that when children lose control, they feel awful about their behavior, they don't like it either. Due to their developmental limitations, children can't stop themselves during a tantrum. Thus, they need the intervention of an adult to provide restraint. Next, take the child to a relatively safe room and say, "My primary task is to ensure your safety. I'll sit with you. You're safe, I'm here with you." Instead of saying this to the child, consider displaying it to yourself. These words can help you re-experience the power you have as a parent. You can close the door, sit near it, and be prepared to use your hands to prevent the child from hitting or kicking you. Tell the child, "I won't allow you to hit me." Also, pay attention to your tone and manner of speaking. Consciously slow down your speech, making your tone softer. A calm and steady voice is essential when dealing with someone in an emotional outburst. You can tell the child, "You're a good kid, your emotions are overwhelming. I'm here with you." You can feel angry or upset, that's okay. You can take a few deep breaths, exaggerating the breaths so the child hears. Children can be influenced by their parents' emotional states. If a child observes you regulating your emotions, you're helping them calm down, too. Additionally, avoid trying to reason, lecture, punish, or say too much during this time. The child is in a threatened state and lacks the mental energy to process verbal information. A composed demeanor and deep breathing are what the child needs. You'll need to wait until the child's emotional fire gradually extinguishes. It might take 5 minutes or half an hour. All your actions send a message to the child: you can express emotions, but I won't allow your emotions to cause harm or destruction. Venting emotions might make you feel better, but explosive outbursts only make you feel worse. Therefore, I won't allow you to do this. Once the child's emotions settle, most parents will feel relieved and try to move past the incident quickly. However, the author advises that it would be better if we could review the situation with our child afterward. We can describe the circumstances at that time, allowing the child to recall the moment of emotional turmoil. This can help the child gain clarity while receiving care, empathy, and understanding, gradually improving their ability to manage emotional outbursts. Now, let's address the second issue: sibling conflicts. As families with 2 or more children become more common, handling sibling rivalry has become increasingly significant. When dealing with conflicts between children, many parents aim for fairness. For instance, if the elder sister receives a toy, they feel obligated to get one for the younger brother. However, the author points out that striving for fairness can fuel conflicts. The more parents emphasize fairness, the more vigilant children become about what the other has and what they want themselves. In the long run, this could lead children, as adults, to overly focus on the lives of their peers, caring about others' possessions or achievements. To solve this fairness issue, when a child loudly complains, "It's not fair," parents shouldn't rush to ensure fairness as their immediate response. Instead, they should strive to guide the child's attention inward and understand the child's feelings. For example, a parent could say, "You feel upset because you didn't get your brother's new shoes. That's normal. Can you also get new shoes?" "Not yet, dear. But don't worry, you and your brother will get what you need. Think about it and tell me, what do you need the most?" Children will gradually learn to look within themselves and understand their needs. In families with multiple children, many parents believe that siblings should be each other's best friends, always treating each other well. However, the author points out that these ideals can be overly idealistic. Sibling relationships are highly complex. Parents must accept and address the complex emotions between siblings to ease conflicts. The better parents understand a child's feelings, such as jealousy or anger toward a sibling, the better they can guide the child to manage these negative emotions. Encouraging children not to unleash these emotions through insults or belittlement is crucial. Therefore, parents should permit children to vent their emotions about their siblings. A one-on-one conversation with the child about their insecurities or jealousy is essential. The more accepting you are of a child's jealousy, the easier it is to address the issue when it arises.
For instance, you might say, "I understand it's not easy having siblings. I also know you're not entirely happy with your sister. When we're alone, you can talk about your frustrations. I'll try my best to understand and help you. One more thing, I won't allow you to insult your sister. My primary responsibility is to ensure everyone's safety at home."
Parents should intervene promptly if conflicts arise between the children. They should try breathing exercises with them and guide them in expressing their perspectives. They should avoid taking sides, favoritism, or labeling. Next, let's delve into the final parenting challenge: how to help a child build confidence. Confidence is often defined as feeling good about oneself and being satisfied. However, the author points out that confidence needs to be clarified. If we define confidence as feeling good about oneself, we might avoid letting the child feel disappointed or unproficient in something. However, this harms confidence. The author believes confidence does not imply feeling good but trusting and acknowledging one's feelings as genuine. Confidence means feeling comfortable regardless of one's emotions, thinking that I can still be myself no matter what emotions I have.
When a child feels upset, many parents, to stop the child from feeling bad, tend to deny the child's feelings. For example, saying, "It's just a small thing, nothing serious." The parent's intention is good, they want the child to be happy and affirm themselves. However, the child may hear, "Maybe I don't understand my feelings, I felt sad, but the adult I trust tells me it's not a big deal." It might make the child unable to trust their feelings.
So, how should parents act? The author provides several reminders. Firstly, acknowledge the child's feelings and express acceptance. This way, the child will believe that their feelings are genuine. For instance, if your daughter says she doesn't want to attend soccer practice, instead of saying, "But you love soccer," try, "Oh, you find playing soccer a bit difficult now, right?" That's normal. Let's think about what we can do. Secondly, use phrases like "How did you come up with that?" rather than external affirmations like "You're amazing" to focus more on the child's inner thoughts and actions. For instance, instead of saying, "You drew this so well," ask, "Why did you choose to draw this? How did you think of mixing these colors?" This praise helps boost a child's confidence by showing interest in the outcome and the child's thought process. Thirdly, emphasize the child's inner world, such as their feelings and thoughts, rather than their external performance, like grades or results. For instance, in sports, the child's inner world includes effort during training, willingness to try new things, or how they perceive the outcome of a match. Academics involve the child's interest in certain subjects or desire to attempt extra credit questions. The more parents focus on a child's inner world, the more the child will value their inner voice. Confident children often believe their inner thoughts are more crucial than external achievements. Lastly, if confidence is about trusting oneself, nurturing a confident child means teaching them to trust their feelings. It is difficult even for adults, as we often doubt our feelings, questioning whether we overreact or are valid. As parents, to instill the habit of understanding and trusting their inner feelings in children, we should frequently tell them, "You know your feelings best." For instance, if a child is shy and reluctant to leave your side, say, "You're not ready to play with other kids yet, that's okay. You know your feelings best. When you're ready, you can go over." These actions emphasize the importance of believing in one's feelings to the child.